there was going to be 2 people at the meeting and maybe 1 or 2 on the phone.
Yeah.
I really hope that we can get the word out.
Yeah.
So we need people to connect with them so that we can tell them about this stuff.
There doesn't have to be any spoken communication. I think that's where social media can be so powerful. It's because it's so easily shared.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Radio Check. I'm Kevin. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time checking out the channel, this is all about sharing veteran stories and uplifting and helping other veterans. Now, one of the things that I had a major goal to do when I was starting this whole thing is basically using this as an excuse or as an opportunity to go out and meet other veterans, find out what they're doing, and in essence, kind of be like a signal booster, right? I want to highlight what they're doing, share what they're doing, kind of help boost them up. But I realize it's not just going to be me, right? So what I'm hoping is that through me, I'll reach more people, and then collectively that unified shared boost will help support each other. So one of the things I had an opportunity to do is conduct my first interview. So that was a whole experience in itself, and that was interesting and new. But what I did is I met this gentleman. He's a Coast Guard veteran through a different Veterans Coalition group, and heard about what he was doing and thought, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. So I reached out to Jeff, asked him if I could steal a little bit of his time and do an interview. So this is going to be the first interview, this being the first interview I've ever done. Like all things, right? There's definitely room for improvement. So without further ado, I'm going to share that interview and then come back and we can talk a little bit more.
Hey, man. I want to thank you again for meeting up with me today.
Absolutely.
All right. So from what I remember from just listening to you, hearing you speak, you said you were in the Coast Guard?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So how long were you in the Coast Guard for?
I was 8 years
Okay.
active service. I went through the academy, came out as an officer.
Okay.
I did 2 shipboard tours and 2 land tours.
Where were you stationed at?
My first ship was Icebreaker.
Okay.
We worked up off of Greenland, Iceland, up in there, keeping that open. And my second ship was out of Miami. That was during the Haitian crisis. We did a lot.
Okay.
Cuba, between there and
Yeah.
Haiti and the Keys.
So a good friend of mine, I went to high school with, served in the Coast Guard.
Yep.
So I know he went from Mobile, Alabama, was his first duty station.
Okay.
But then he wanted like big crazy waves or something, so he went to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
He was out there for a while, and then did up on the Cape. I think is when where he finished.
Cape Cod?
Up in Massachusetts. Yeah, I was thinking P-Town, I think it's called.
Okay, Provincetown.
Yeah. But I know he was all about the big waves.
Okay.
And so I've done a couple floats overseas on the big ships.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And like I know guys like me, felt pretty sick. Like I could not do. You know what I mean? Any of those
It never bothered me. We had, I had a couple classmates that had that issue, and they went into aviation as soon as they could get off of the ships. You know.
Yeah.
One way to keep from bouncing around. Like
right.
That.
Yeah, I always had to take Dramamine or like just bury my head under something.
Yeah, right.
Trying to pretend like didn't feel like I was flying off the face of the planet. So, so you did, and then what did you do after the military?
Once I got out of the military, which is probably the dumbest thing I ever did, but I went into civil engineering. That was what my degree was in, so I started doing that. I moved back to Jersey, where I'm from, and I got a job in the transportation industry, so doing roads and bridges, like DOT type work and stuff like that. And then several years later, I got an opportunity to come out to Harrisburg, which is where we've been for the last 24 years.
Okay.
Doing the same thing. So it's my day job is the civil engineering.
That's okay. And then now, the way I met you, or how I found out about you, was through the Capital Area Veterans Coalition. Mm-hmm. So tell me more. Tell us again, or tell everyone, I guess, about what you got going on.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So our Good Karma Garage is what we're doing, and it's a nonprofit garage where we're trying to help folks out that are struggling. You know, as you well know, being in Pennsylvania, owning a car, you take it in every year and you just dread that phone call that you're going to get. It needs $300 in brakes and exhaust, and for folks of modest means, you can juggle things and make that work. But the people at the lower end of the financial scale, I mean, that's killer. They can't do it,
right.
you know. And with there's two things going on now that are really hurting that. One is the prices of everything are going up. So
right.
you know the cost for car parts is going up tremendously. But two, with the pandemic and the new cars not coming out, now the used car market is skyrocketing. So they can't afford to get into a new used car, right? Or a new used car. So it's really important for them to be able to keep their vehicle running. Right. So what we do is we provide no-cost repair services for them to get through inspection.
Okay.
And what we're finding out as, you know, we've not had any repeat customers. So we kind of see the customers at inspection. So it's an annual thing.
Right.
Not that we don't do stuff for them in between,
sure.
but typically that's where it's set up. So, you know, we're seeing sort of the first cut on everybody. And the cars are in pretty rough shape. You know, they've been not maintained well. They find places that don't really do a good inspection, you know, that kind of stuff. So we don't skimp on the inspection.
Basically the cheapest place you can take it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that, you know, people that aren't looking for stuff. And we don't chintz on it at all. We do a full inspection. And when things are getting towards the limit of when they need to be replaced, we go ahead and replace them for them. So as an example, you know, tires, once they hit 230 seconds, they have to be replaced. So if a car comes in and they have 430 seconds, but I know they've driven 50,000 miles in the last year, they're going to burn through those last 230 seconds quick. So we'll put tires on that individual's car.
Okay.
And, you know, we have them pay for the inspection, which is $60.
Okay.
And we cover everything else, whatever it needs to get through inspection.
Everything else. Dude, that's awesome. So I drive a 2012 Toyota Camry, so I'm kind of living that right now. Right?
Exactly.
So it's like the cars I'm looking at trade-in. It's like it's basically trading in for the exact same car that I bought, you know, however many years ago.
Right.
So that's awesome. So have you always been a car guy?
No, not at all. I got into cars probably, I guess 4 or 5 years ago now. It really, my son came out of high school and was just sort of floundering around, didn't know what he wanted to do. And I've always done my own maintenance, like brake jobs and oil changes, nothing significant. But he always had an aptitude for that. So I said, hey, you know, let's get into trying to push him into that world. And so we bought a project car, and we had a lot of fun with that. So we bought another project car, and then he went to automotive school, finished up there, worked in the industry for about a year, decided he wanted to do something else, and left me with all the project cars. So that, and doing that, and then I had my wife's friend at work, 70-year-old lady. She was working 3 jobs to keep her head above water.
Right.
And she got a bill for like $1,200 to get her car through inspection. So my wife said, hey, can you help her out? And I said, yeah, sure. You know, we got the parts mail order, so it was cheap, and I didn't charge her labor.
Right.
And I started thinking, well, you know what? I bet there's a lot of other people in this situation. So that sort of put the idea in my head a couple years back about starting this business. And sure enough, I mean, we started last July. Our first customer came through in October.
Right.
And we have not had a shortage of customers since. So there's a large population out there that really needs this. This, and again, especially now with the pandemic and prices and everything.
Sure.
The other sad part of that is the veterans. You know, there's just a tremendous amount of veterans that need help.
Right, especially here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I have to ask though, what was the first project car?
Our first project car, I got a Porsche 928.
Okay.
Which sounds expensive. I bought it for $3,000.
Okay.
So it needed work.
Yeah.
But we enjoyed that car for several years, and I just got rid of it a couple years ago. Sold it for about $800 or $900 more than I paid for it. So I did a little better than losing money on it. But you know, like I said, we really enjoyed it, and it was a good gateway for my son to get into doing stuff with motorsports and things like that. And we do the, you know, just the what do you call it, the grassroots motorsports stuff. We're not, you know, track guys or anything that. But you know, the autocross, we do a lot of rally cross, and my son's actually gotten involved with a full rally team now that he goes out and does stuff with. So it really has grown into something good for him. Yeah. And for me, it's enabled me to do this. So, you know, it's I don't know if you're religious, but you know, the Lord kind of pushes you in a direction, and you don't know why. And but things sort of end up Right, they end up, so you feel like you're where you need to be.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of where I'm at now.
Honestly, that's how I'm here today.
Yeah.
Honest to God, like I 100% understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, whether it's God or fate or whatever you believe in, it's something.
Right.
Something, events conspired to put me in this situation.
To get you in that direction.
And now, I'm able to do something. And it's
awesome.
Nice for me too. It's not completely selfless that we do these things, right? When I was in the service, I really got the feeling that I was doing something for the world, for the country, right now. And even, obviously, if you're on the ship, you're out there, you're the front line guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on the land station, you still felt like you were supporting that. You felt like you were part of that mission.
Right.
And when I left and got into corporate America, it just wasn't the same thing. I got involved with the volunteer fire company. I've done all kinds of volunteer stuff since then, just to sort of fill that void.
Yeah.
And this is something that I'm looking to do. I'm getting on the I'm probably in the November, December of my working years here.
Sure.
So this is something that I think I can hopefully turn into a full-time gig.
Yeah.
And move into retirement. So that's the goal over the next 4 or 5 years.
No, I completely understand what you're talking about, and that's something I try to talk about a fair bit. And I try to verbalize, but how do you replace that feeling where you had that mission, you were serving, and then to replace that, right? So, all right, so Good Karma Garage, and where are you guys located again?
The garage is in Harrisburg, north end of Harrisburg.
All right.
Front Street.
And so if people want to get a hold of you or want to find you, how do they find you?
The best place is the website, goodkarmagarage.com.
Okay.
We're also on Facebook. There's another Good Karma Garage on Facebook. He's down in North Carolina.
Gotcha.
So we're not that guy.
All right.
We're the one with the dog on it. Here, we hold that up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'll make sure I'll edit in some links and stuff like that. Man, I want to thank you again.
Oh,
I really appreciate it. I think what you're doing is amazing.
Cool.
That's so cool.
Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Man, it's really up to you. So my goal with these things is always to do it just like let it flow, unedited, long form, and then just go,
pick out the highlights.
Yeah, and then just kind of go.
Hopefully, you got enough highlights to make an actual video.
I think so. And I think the more I've done this and kind of linked up and networked like this, it's just I'm finding more and more people, and it's just like get them up there and just. It's not going to be me, but like the third or fourth person that shares it and reaches.
Well, I'll tell you that's one thing I'm struggling with now too. Is I didn't know anything about social media,
right?
So I got my daughter involved, and she's got us on Facebook and Instagram, which I know nothing about. I'm somewhat literate in Facebook. I know nothing about Instagram.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm having the issue now.
Right.
Where do we get the following? How do you get the I guess I could go play baseball and get the groin shot and get the viral video, but I don't know how to get that. So really, if we can link with what you're doing,
absolutely,
you could link with what we're doing, then maybe the two of us.
See, and that's why I think something like this is important, right? Because this is 100% going on all over social media, and the idea is that ultimately, like, it's not the name of a business, right? It's not always the price, although that plays a factor. For a lot of consumers or a lot of people, it's who it is. You know what I mean? You do business, or you want to support people that you believe in, that you support.
The younger generation's that way too.
Absolutely.
The folks coming out of college now,
right.
Out of school now, they want to do business with people that are doing good things.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot from my kids.
Right. And I think the other thing too is, speaking back to the size of the veteran community, even in just within our state, even just locally, it's huge. I think that we could absolutely do a better job of networking as veterans, right?
Well, and supporting I gotta tell you that I was blown away by that coalition.
Right.
To know something like that exists.
Yeah.
And to see not only, when I got the invite, there was 50 people on the
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
I figured there's no way this many people are interested in this thing.
Right.
I figured there was going to be 2 people at the meeting and maybe 1 or 2 on the phone.
Yeah.
But that room was full of people.
Right.
And every one of them was there for the veterans. It did my heart so good to see that the veterans have this, And I hope Now I didn't know about it beforehand, but I'm not plugged into a lot of things.
Sure.
So I really hope that we can get the word out.
Yeah.
So the veterans that this stuff exists. You know,
Absolutely.
that fishing trip that I forget the guy's name, but that he's doing that. Come on, man, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Get those guys out doing stuff.
Or like, you know, it's like it was like during that meeting they're like, hey, we need 2 toilets.
Yeah.
And like 5 minutes later, they're like, hey, we got 2 of those toilets.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. And that's what I'm saying. It's like just people need to know about it, right? And I think too often you're limited to it's like what you know and then what your buddies know. Right? And if neither one of you are plugged into the right channels, sometimes you miss all these resources.
I think it's incumbent upon us to get that outreach.
Absolutely.
Because the veterans that need help are, I was never in combat, so it's not something I can really relate to. But it seems to me that they're sheltered. They don't look out. They're not the ones that are finding out about these things. So we need people to connect with them so that we can tell them about this stuff.
So this has always been my kind of analogy or thought about this, right? And like I've only served in the Marine Corps, but when you're in the Marine Corps,
pretty significant.
Yeah, no, but I'm meaning I didn't serve multiple branches, right? You're never alone, ever, right? I stick my head out. If my roommates, I stick my head out on the catwalk. I'm going to see somebody, I can yell, and all. I can connect with somebody. It takes 0 effort. There doesn't have to be any spoken communication, and there's an understanding.
What's that, brother?
Exactly, right? You have that bond and that shared understanding. There's no catching you up to where I'm at. You already know, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you separate, though, from wherever unit, branch, whatever, now it's not just geographically you're separated, but now even to try to have a similar type of conversation, I've got to get you caught up, right? And trying to get you caught up can be pretty exhausting.
Well, and especially for the folks that have been in combat, seen things that there's absolutely no way I can understand.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what your military background is, what you did, but I volunteered with the FEMA search and rescue.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out to some disaster sites, Katrina, New York, all that stuff. I've been to a lot of those places. And it affects you because you're in this surreal world that just doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah.
Like I was in downtown New Orleans, standing outside the Superdome at noon, and there was nobody around.
Right.
In the middle of New Orleans, noon, nobody's around.
Yeah.
It's weird, So like that affects you. But then to add on top of that what these veterans, these combat veterans have seen, there's no amount of catching up to that.
Right.
I can never understand what they've gone through.
Right.
And for me to even try, I think is an insult to them. But how do we reach them? How do we help them? That doesn't mean I can't do something for them, or I can't pull them along to that fishing trip or pull them along to some other event.
I think that's where social media can be so powerful. Mm-hmm. It's because it's so easily shared.
Yeah.
I can send it. I can text it to you.
Right.
I can email it to you. I can tag you. Like there's multiple ways to get it in front of your face. Right. So I think that's one of the benefits of it. So I had the privilege, I think, of serving both pre 9/11 and post 9/11. So I was in Marine Corps infantry, so I got to do all the cool stuff, before, during peacetime.
Right.
Got to do basically a year over in the Mediterranean. Got to go to Panama in '99. I understand that surreal feeling though. So I was out of Camp Pendleton when 9/11 happened. Right.
Okay.
So I was driving through the main gate and I was listening to it on Howard Stern. And I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
So I shut off my radio and then got on base, and then that's when we realized
it wasn't a joke.
I did my combat in Al-Ramadi, Iraq.
I can't imagine what that was like, being on base when
that
because I was a civilian at the time, so it was. What
was crazier was how quiet when they shut the flights down.
I noticed the same thing.
There's just nothing.
That's the same thing.
Right?
So I was working in Jersey at the time.
Yeah.
And it was on a Tuesday, and I think stayed there Wednesday, and I was driving home on Thursday, and I just noticed, like driving down the Pennsylvania Turnpike. There's no contrails. There's
Right.
no airplane. It's,
Right.
it's strange. Yeah.
It's so quiet,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah. So, but I do have, so I did serve overseas in combat. I was a platoon sergeant over there, so I
Yeah, God
led
bless you.
a group of Marines over there, and then I have tried. We always, and that's just it, right? We still have that connection. It's just, we gotta do these long distance checks, and it's life gets in the way, right? And
Sure
so
does.
trying this is me trying to like, hey, let's prioritize this, and let's try to keep those connections alive. Let's keep those smoke signals, whatever it takes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. This is a great program or project that you're doing.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And I'll it's not, it's good for my soul. It makes it keeps me out of my rabbit
Well,
holes.
I was talking to one of the guys I work with, very religious, and I got talking to him because I was a volunteer firefighter for a long time.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I
Yeah.
really loved it. So I said, is that really community service if I enjoy doing it that much?
Right.
And
Yeah.
his take was that no, you're given those gifts to share with other people.
Right.
So the reason that I enjoy that is so I can share it with other people.
Right.
And you go do things that they don't want to do. And it's the same thing with professions, right? There's a lot of, I wouldn't want to be a school teacher. I wouldn't want to be a doctor. I wouldn't want to be this, that, and the other thing, but we need them in society.
Yeah.
So thank
Sure.
God there are people that want to do those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely done the jobs where it's just a paycheck, right?
Yeah,
And,
right.
and it just eats away at you a little bit every
yeah,
day.
yeah.
When you're sitting in that cubicle farm and you're just like, oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. But yeah, man, like I said, so right now I'm building a plane while I'm flying and I feel like it's on fire sometimes. You know what I mean? So just doing,
I think we're all there.
just
I think we're all there,
taking
so.
a good swing at it, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But honestly, worst case scenario, I meet a bunch of cool people and have a bunch of cool stories to tell.
And I'll tell you the I was worried about the same thing when I started this.
Yeah.
Will it be received well?
Right.
Can I make it happen?
Right.
Am I going to hit the right people?
Yeah.
And the first person that I had, the first customer that we had, she had the same situation where she had couldn't afford to get her car fixed for inspection, didn't know what she was going to do. So I went and met her, and I met her at the church with at the food bank, and she wasn't there giving food; she was giving food out.
Okay.
And I thought, you know what? This is the right person.
Yeah.
These are the kind of people I want to help, right?
Right.
She doesn't have enough money to get her car fixed,
Right.
yet she's there taking care of other people.
Yeah.
So, it like I said, fate puts you in the right place at the right time. To
Absolutely.
let you know you're doing the right thing. So, I don't know if you've had that golden moment
I
yet,
do.
but I'm telling you, it's coming from
I'm telling you, and I've connected with people, and it's like I feel like I was meant to meet you. Like somehow
Good.
something led me here.
Yeah.
And I'm here for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So but my man, I can't think of a better way to end it than that.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, and your
Thank
assistant's getting rowdy over
Yeah,
there.
he's
No,
starting
he's doing good. He's doing good.
So there are a couple things that stuck out to me as I reflected back on that interview. It was my first interview, I think, ever where I didn't have, specific questions that I wanted to line out. So there was definitely some nervousness that was involved. I had my 8-year-old with me. We were in a public place. There's a lot of background noise. So I think all of that played a factor into it. If I could go back and do it again, or if I was probably more comfortable when this happened, I definitely would have loved to have done a deeper dive on some of the things that Jeff was telling me, like what made you join the Coast Guard? Why the Coast Guard? What's life like on an icebreaker? Things like that. And then it changed from being Iceland, Greenland down to Miami. So there's a lot of stuff that I wish I would have asked, but I want to thank Jeff so much for taking the time to do that with me. Again, he is located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The name of his garage is Good Karma Garage. If you happen to know a veteran, if you happen to be a veteran, or if you happen to know or be a person that needs help just keeping and maintaining your transportation, reach out to them. If that's not you, but you think you love what he's doing, they have an opportunity to donate as well. So they are a 501c3. Would love to hear back from Jeff that he's getting more and more people, because I know that's what he's looking for. I think the other thing too that really stuck out to me personally, being a father of two sons, I absolutely love that this came from started out just working with his son on a project car, and then it grew into something else. I just absolutely love that. So let's help try to get the word out there. If you know someone, if you could just share this story, or check out his Facebook page, his Instagram page, or his website. Tell people about it. Donate if you can. But love what he's doing and want to do whatever we can to help boost him up. So one of the things I had to do when I was creating this channel is think up of what did I want to use as far as an image or a logo or some artwork to be associated with that. As I was thinking through trying to figure out which direction I wanted to go, my mind then went to an artist that I stumbled on actually a couple of years back. I found this Instagram page, and it's for Ben Cantwell Art. And the artist is a former Marine Corps infantry veteran. Now, if you go check out his page, you'll notice that there's a lot of Marine Corps related stuff in there, a lot of veteran related work. So I reached out to him. So he's the artist behind the logo, as well as some other artwork that I had commissioned. But absolutely love his stuff. And what I'm hoping is in the near future, then I'll be able to get an interview in with him, so he can share his story. We can share it with everybody and find out just a little bit more about him. When did he serve? Who is he with? Things like that. So if you get a chance, go check out his artwork. It's Ben Cantwell Art. He's on Instagram. I know he has a webpage as well, but go show him some love. Hey, I wanted to thank everyone again for taking the time to join me today. Want to throw out a special thank you to Jeff for being the first person that I've ever interviewed, for taking the time and giving me the opportunity to try to help him and boost what they're doing over there. What I'm hoping is that for the next episode, I'll be able to connect with two Marine Corps veterans that I'm friends with. One of them I served with in 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines. We deployed together in Ramadi. His name's Ralph Sarabia. He's got this awesome thing going out in California called Putasos Inc. And I don't want to give away too much. I want to give him the platform to kind of share his story. Also want to connect with another local veteran in Pennsylvania. He just recently opened up a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu school. And so want to kind of take the opportunity and highlight not only what he's doing and the school he's doing, but all the awesome benefits that I believe veterans can get from doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. But until then, want to say thank you one last time. Radio check out and Semper Fi.